This is EXT Radio.
Excited to be here today. I've had a fantastic weekend so far. Been learning so much when it comes to DJing and been able to connect with so many incredible people. It's been lovely. It's been a really lovely weekend. I hope you've been having a great weekend as well. So a little bit about today. We have a surprise guest coming on. Who won't be such a surprise in half an hour when he arrives. In the meantime, I leave you with DJ Tears PLK's Kazi Deep version of C9's Wonder, aka See You Later. Which, if you remember from the Psy with Duke show, they actually put me on the original C9 version of this track from Secret Garden. Isn't this just such a lovely, beautiful version, edition, art form? Enjoy.
Just like I sung one of them songs a while ago and I put a voice in it. Say that love hide all fault, make you do things you don't want to do. Love sometimes will leave you feeling sad. I'm talking about the blues, I ain't talking about monkey jump. Sometimes that kind of blues will make you even kill or do anything. That kind of love. It goes here on this side. One of them songs.
And it's called Blues. So if you remember, I've been playing some of Frank Rue's latest project work over the past couple of weeks. I think this is from something in last year, at the end of last year, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that. But it's gorgeous. So C Moody and Frank Rue, it's called Blues. Enjoy.
On this side, one of them songs.
So this is also by DJ Tears POK. It's his Ghazi Deep version of Reckless. So the track name is Reckless. It's unreleased, it'll be out when it's out. DJ Tears POK.
No. What is jazz? Jazz is a feeling. Jazz is a way of life.
and just chat about that track for a hot second. So this track is by, it's quite like fitting for this weekend because so it's called Save South Africa by China Chameleon and Chronicle Deep. And China Chameleon, if for those of you that don't know, hi Gareth, how you doing? Hello to everyone that's tuned in. So China Chameleon, my favourite producer, everybody knows this. Chronicle Deep, incredible producer. He has been in London, so he had a kind of debut show with Monate yesterday, and then was in the studio with Sizwe for Sizzler's show with Patrick just as I came in. And what he was playing was like unreleased stuff from his new album that's coming up, and it's just so melodic and beautiful and like on the money with the art, you know. And I just found it fitting that this track, I've never played it before, like not at a set, not on the radio, and you know, with a title like Save South Africa, I think that can encompass so much. South Africa's full of so much beauty and joy, and you know, all of these culture and values and so many kind of philosophies that have made me very much embedded in me, who I am, aside from the music, you know. And then comes the music. So I love that track. I'm going to play this one next. It's by MK Clive, and Inusol is called Heart of Soul. And I'm going to check on my guest, my very special guest. Whew! Very special guest is on his way. So hold tight. Stay tuned. Geeking out. Okay, here we go. This is called Heart of Soul by MK Clive and Inusol. next one I want to play you is called Nata Futa, and it's by Dramatic Boys and Tina Arda. Was sent to me by my good friend China. Appreciate you, China Chameleon. Absolutely admire you, to be honest. Here we go, Nata Futa. Are we ready? Are we ready?
Natafuta njia ya kutoroka, kelele imezidi, maisha ibadiliki. Kila kona hapakosi shida, kila kutwa natafuta njia. Give me music, keep me on my feet. Give me music, make me feel something. Natafuta, futa, 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 futa. Natafuta, 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 futa, futa. I need the music. Shut the voices in my head. I wanna dance my pain away. Let it heal my broken heart. Natafuta, futa, futa. Natafuta, futa, futa. Natafuta, futa, futa.
I've been chatting and the mic wasn't on, so I'm going to do that whole thing again. This is Nata Futa by Dramatic Boys and Tina Arda. Thank you again to China for sending it to me. I'm absolutely loving this track. My special guest has just arrived. I'm very excited to introduce you to him. You all know him very, very well. In a second, I will invite him on and we're going to have a chat and then have top 10 tracks from this very special guest. So in the meantime, Nata Futa by Dramatic Boys and Tina Arda.
Give me freedom, I wanna dance. Give me freedom, I wanna be myself. Give me freedom, I wanna dance. Give me freedom, I wanna be myself. Give me freedom, I wanna dance. Give me freedom, I wanna be myself. Give me freedom, I wanna dance. Give me freedom, I wanna be myself.
Ngantafuta by Dramatic Boys and Tina Ada. It's unreleased. It'll be out when it's out. So, without further ado, I am privileged, blessed and honoured to introduce somebody who is the epitome of daring deeply, absolutely will always speak his truth, is not afraid to go up against the grain to say the thing that needs to be said, and has a discography that goes on for centuries. The discography itself is so immense and incredible. He's known for his Afrohouse. He's known for his deep house. He's known for house in general and ancestral sounds. Offering recordings. It is none other than Boddhi Satva in the house. Yay!
Hey.
Welcome.
What do you do? What it does?
Welcome.
What's happening? Where do I look? Straight ahead.
Anywhere, yeah.
Yeah?
So it's just like we chat like
Relax.
how we've been chatting,
Yes.
and the camera's there. Some people are tuned in
Yeah.
on the live here.
That's right. Your battery's almost dying, by the way.
I know. I need to
Yeah.
plug that in. We also need to sort out here your USB. It's not showing on this one, but I'll sort that out in a second.
Yeah, I know why.
Is it the formatting? It's the CDJ. Do you know what it is, Boddhi Satva? Yeah, it's the CDJ 2000 Nexus. I mean, we're talking like pretty soon after vinyl, I'm hearing. What in your...
The thing is that I kind of sense it might be the case, so...
Okay, great.
Well,
So you've
even
got
though
this
what
one.
I have here is not what I have here, but whatever. It's
Oh, okay. Hopefully
It's
we'll
all
be
good,
able
it's
to
all
find...
good, it's all good, it's all good.
There'll be top 10 tracks on here.
Thank you, my man. Yeah, I mean, there's enough tracks. What's going on, family? What's going on? What's happening?
We're very excited to hear
Yeah?
your top 10 tracks.
Yeah?
We're also really
Shit.
excited. As many as we can get through.
Yeah,
As many as we can get through.
Straight up.
I'm also really excited to talk a little bit about London.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your opinion of London. Your journey that brings you here at this stage. I'd like to talk about the New York recognition. And what that means to you, what that represents to you. I'd like to
Okay.
talk about the gentrification of Afrohouse.
Sure. Fair enough.
We're going to get into it.
Yeah, that's all good.
And yeah, just a little bit about kind of your general kind of ethos. We've kind of spoken a little bit about it sort of over the last week or so.
Yes.
But I would love for our community who admires you so much, and
Oh,
rightly
thank you.
so, right?
Thank you.
The South African kind of, that generation of South Africans grew up listening to you and
many
deep
others
house
for sure, but yes.
and
yeah.
many others, but like in terms of deep house, like what I'm hearing is you're goated in that area, because like I said to you, I mean, this was embarrassing at the time, but I said to you,
You've been the best of us, you're one of those.
I said, I'm one of those. I'm
Yeah.
one of those. So
It's
embarrassing.
okay.
You know what I said? I said, I know you from the Afrohouse stuff.
Yeah.
And you showed me. And then when I had conversations with my friends who are themselves South African, they're like, are you kidding me? Boddhi, man, that's the guy. That's the guy. And, this week I've spent some time, like, taking in that deep house stuff, the funk track, Read the Room. There's some, like, incredible tracks that I'm just like, I'm, like, getting it on my USB straight away.
I know.
And I think there's something to that, which is this connection that you have to South Africans, to people that are kind of, on the ancestral homeland, as well as then in the diaspora and further beyond.
Yes, yeah, it's the overall continent of Africa. I think, this touched right into the post that
Right, so we're gonna get into it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Posted last week on Instagram, which created a bit of a, whenever I open my mouth on this topic, it does bother people and rub people off, but I don't care.
This is the thing. What you in your caption, what you put is really important, which is, it seems like maybe I'm going to have to talk about this, and I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Which
Because,
is like that integrity.
Because the thing is that there's a tendency, and it's an overall thing, where history is being rewritten. Sorry.
No, it's okay. I'm just
Right
making
in the
close.
microphone, yes, indeed. Let me address you accordingly.
It's like radio presenter things.
I know, it's okay. So basically, the idea is that, rewriting history is something rather normalized nowadays. And I know it is very, very almost inappropriate to even address the topic. But the fact of the matter is that this cannot be allowed. You know, it's okay for you to think that, yes, you've played a big role, and you have, but you haven't initiated single-handedly. If we start from the concept of saying that the sound was developed simultaneously at different phases, different speed, worldwide, sure, I'll take that. And it comes from, first and foremost, the Black American scene.
100%.
You know, from house, disco, you name it. But we then, as a diaspora, took the sound over.
Right.
And obviously back home, and the diaspora means what it means. It means that we were daughters and sons of the continent, various shades and colors, various sides and parts of the continent, traveling back and forth. So obviously we would bring back these influences home, and you know that this whole thing contributed, right?
Right.
So the whole conversation is not about saying, oh, no. It's about acknowledge the actual pioneers. Not saying that you have to, you know, sort of like you don't owe a debt of anything, but the minimum you owe is actually telling the true story. And 100%. This whole new generation of like, hey, we're gonna tell them, no, you don't know nothing about this. You know everything about maybe the new waves because you're designing the new sound. Right. But don't act as if a Boddhi Satva didn't exist, because that's another situation that I've noticed in a couple of big magazines actually forgetting my name. And I was like, okay, I understand. It's a editorial choice. They want to focus on Black Coffee, focus on, you know, Kulu the Song or Chimza, the South African guys. Great, fantastic. Or, you know, in the UK, you'd have your Kitty Mo, you know, you'd have, you know, the different influencers and DJs and key players of the sound here. You know, the Seth Combos, the Sondela Records, etc. Cool, great. You have to mention these names. Someone like yourself, etc. Cool, mention these names. But don't forget, these people came from us.
Right. So pay homage.
Pay homage and
the
honor.
Groundwork that's been
and it's
done.
like, it's not because, I'm trying to have my little five
of
minutes
course,
of fame.
absolutely.
I don't need the fame.
No, you don't need it.
I'm already known. So it's not like people like, hey, when I hear it. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. It's not about that. It's just about, you know, it's like anything in life.
Yeah.
I am somebody who is always but that's my character. I'm not saying people have to be like me, and I don't expect them.
Well, we admire you for it.
Thank you. Well, I pay the price for it as well. Trust me. Oof. That's another conversation.
Whoa.
Yeah, you pay the price for.
That
I'm
integrity
not a
costs you something.
I'm not a guy about that. It's like, you know, when being real or too real gets wrong, I'm not that guy.
No.
I know how to be political as well, but one thing I do not budge with is the truth.
Right.
If something is not true, you're going to see me raise
You have
my
to
voice.
speak about it. I'm the same person. I'm the same person.
So I know when to shut up. I definitely do. But there was just a repetition, and it's been going on for some time. And I was like, you know what? You know, if any place where this needs to be actually told is in the UK, because the UK is known to be an epicenter for music.
Right.
And I think
with all the melting pot of different cultures that come together and make London the city that it is.
And you were asking me earlier about, you know, you want to ask me about how I feel about London. I mean, that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like there is London is regaining its central position within the industry. Now, I'm hearing from so many different people, and thankfully because of the conversation that I have and I'm open to have with others, that, you know, London is so many, you know, little pouches of groups and communities, and if you're not part of this community, you don't know what's happening in the other. And I'm like, okay, that's a weakness. It's cool, it's cute, but it's a weakness.
Cute. Boddhi Satva was like, cute, you're the cute.
No, it's cute. The truth is,
I get it.
I understand, because everybody want to be like, I'm the gatekeeper. You're not gatekeeper of nothing.
It's not that. Yeah, right.
The truth of the matter is that music needs to travel.
And why must we proclaim gatekeeping? Why must we be so proud of that? In a sense, that hinders everybody when they do that, right?
Gatekeeping is the very reason why somebody like you, for example, who's a woman, who has a sound that is unique to what it is you want it to sound and be crafted as. You present yourself in the way you present yourself. You know, you come from who's you from, and then because of there's also issues with colorism as well. There's so many layers with the sound. I mean,
100%.
Afro, and that's the new generation as well. The new generation has become really. So the conversations that are happening like outside our scene came into our scene
Okay.
because Afrohouse is such a very peaceful sound. It's
spiritual.
welcoming everybody, right? Because and house music is all about that. Your house is my house. This is house
100%,
music,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
It binds us in a different way.
exactly. So it doesn't matter whatever your gender, whatever you identify, whatever
Yeah.
your sexuality.
Yeah.
This doesn't really come into. It's
No.
not even important. Just come, have fun, dance, be respectful, go back home and do what you got to do, right? No, it becomes politicized. Oh, you're not doing this. Oh, I'm gatekeeping. What are you gatekeeping, in fact? Because as you gatekeep, cool, I understand the concept. But the problem is that, remember, it's a will.
Yeah. It's only going to block you and your opportunities as well.
Oh, no. Trust me, you'll be fine. You can
Right.
be fine for a long time.
Okay.
But then the wheel turns.
Wow.
And it's no longer your time.
Right.
So that gatekeeping is going to come biting
bite
at
you
your
in
ass.
the butt. Yeah. I hear you.
So it's all about understanding, but it's okay. Do you? I mean,
Right.
trust me. I've been there. I've seen it. I've been in the game for 26 years. You know, so when I hear people coming and trying to question my knowledge about the sound, I can't have a conversation with somebody who questions my knowledge because it's just like, dude, I initiated this whole fucking thing.
This is it.
Pardon my French, but
No,
it's the
100%.
reality. Like,
Yeah.
it's not just me, by the way. There's a couple of us, but we
During
were
that
not
time,
100.
Yeah.
You know, there was literally a handful of guys and gals doing it. You know, this is very important to acknowledge. It's also a male-dominated industry, so I do understand that
Speak
there's
on
this
it.
like, girls' power. We gotta go, girl. Nah, that whole mentality as well is also, in my opinion, is wrong, because then you bring about that whole idea of like, well, it's us against you. No, it should no, because not all men are against. Actually, a lot of the time, it's not a question of being against. It's just that I think when there's lack of talent, in many cases, it is replaced by this fourth idea that, well, I have the network, I'm going to gatekeep. So if you're a woman, you have the traits and the various aspect that makes a woman attractive, right? You're physically this, you're that. You're going to get more jobs than I do as a man. Well, yeah, probably.
In some ways, I mean, notwithstanding the kind of the gravity of what you're saying, there's a privilege in the sense that if you're conventionally attractive and not as,
Thank
and
you.
I think
You put it better.
representation has a big part, like you say, colorism has a big part to play in this as well, right?
Trust me.
Who gets the opportunities, and at the same time, I think that the fact that I speak about this in terms of deep house. There are very few women DJs, women producers in deep house, that kind of South African deep house that I kind of, that world that I'm in.
Yeah.
And I also often speak about, it's not a lack of talent, it's a lack of that representation. Those women are
No,
not.
sometimes it's also a lack of talent on both
Right.
sides, men and women alike.
Right, both
There's
sides.
honestly,
So
like, there's
then
some
it's not
people
a
that
question of-
they can't play.
Yeah.
They can't like
On both sides, but
stop
that's not
messing
related
about.
to-
You know what I mean?
to
But yes,
gender,
what you're
right.
saying, it's not
I
has
hear
nothing
you.
to do with it.
Yeah.
And when people make this conversation about colors and gender, I'm like, y'all put. This is the thing. Over intellectualization of this whole thing makes you become stupid.
Right.
Because you're trying to intellectualize something that isn't.
Right.
It's just 1 + 1 equal 2. It's like, you're good, you get it.
Yeah.
Problem is, we have actually entered a world where mediocrity
Okay. I know what you're saying.
is
Yeah.
indeed compensated. So somebody who does much less work than you will get more opportunities than you because they're willing to do something that you might not be willing to.
And they
which
fit a
is-
box.
Which is compromising.
That
and
is-
they
that
fit the
people
box
are- yeah.
potentially. Right now, for example, the way the Afrohouse is, the direction Afrohouse is going, for example, at least they're trying to take it. My skin complexion, even though I'm a non-melanated African man, but that
So
doesn't take away my black
is
blood.
it
My,
CAR that you're-
Central African Republic,
Wow.
yes. I've seen in many conversations they would never do that to me frontally, but I can hear.
To your face, yeah.
And
yeah.
it's okay. To be honest with you, I understand, and so I'm not. It's cool.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away my bread, but I do see where people who might, also be Africans, but coming with their different shades and colors, might actually be prejudiced because the prejudice is only against black people. What is black? It's the color. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm also black, but
Right.
I don't have the color.
Yeah.
So what is that supposed to mean?
Right.
So I'm being prejudiced because of,
Yeah.
and I don't look at myself as such because
No.
I feel extremely blessed and privileged
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
able to do what I love and
Yeah,
make
yeah,
a
of
living from
course.
what I love.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do. And somebody will say, because you're white passing or you're literally white. Sure, probably so.
I think that's the systemic nature of what we're talking about, these kind of macro
Yeah, sure.
themes. But like you say, sometimes we intellect, and I'm definitely, you're speaking to me because I'm one of those people that often tends to intellect, but sometimes it is as deep as it is because of those lack of resources as a result of what is popping, what's going on. But I guess in terms of this kind of the gentrification, the recent gentrification, I call it recent. How long ago do you think that this thing escalated? Like, when did it really start getting on you guys' nerves? This kind of, the Tulumness of this sound that you've been part of for 26 years, like you say.
Well, I've not been part of the Tulum sound for that long, but
No.
but I do
No,
understand
but
what
you
you
know
mean.
what I mean.
So I will say this, right? I have nothing against the fact that people in Tulum or elsewhere in the world embrace the sound. I have nothing against the fact that a bunch of guys and gals who think they're being spiritual and dancing in weird ways on Afrohouse and creating
Or
these
not
communities
dancing
of
and
it,
just
or
looking
not, and
cool.
just like whatever it is they're doing, whatever it is you guys are doing. Again, I don't judge that, and I really don't care so much about that.
Yeah.
I care about the sound being
Yeah, in the
expanding,
right way, yeah.
expanding, and there's no such thing as a right way because you don't control the expansion.
Right.
Who are you to
Once
say you're
it's
gonna
out there,
control
it's
you know what I
art.
mean? It's
Yeah,
art. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
When you give birth to a child, you might want that child of yours to go a certain direction.
But nothing you say is going to make,
That's my point.
Yeah.
All you can do is just guide and
Yeah.
try to be, like I did, remind people, like, hey,
Wisdom.
history is this. You guys are continuing, but be careful. Don't try to erase what's happened. So when it comes to the gentrification, I think, so it's becoming called gentrification. But back in the days, I would say, when Kulu released his first project on Innovisions, that was we were doing the sound already, what they call nowadays Afrotech. We just
Okay.
didn't call it Afrotech.
Yeah, so it wasn't like labelled as
it wasn't labeled as such.
subgenre.
Afrohouse existed already in the 90s. It wasn't a thing that was developed in the early. No, it's just that it wasn't per se a label, So I would say a guy like Kulu the Song, when he released his first product with Innovisions, initiated the whole new era with his production
Like a
of
ripple
scores.
effect.
It had a ripple effect, Then Dixon, who still is a massive and respected name, but at the time was, kind of music massive,
Right.
not in terms of social media potentially, but like in the industry,
Reach, yeah.
massive.
Right.
Same as
Influence.
Oshun Lade, etc. Obviously you have obviously Black Coffee,
Yeah.
but the guy that started this is at least for the South African sound and really was recognized because, again, I repeat, it existed already before.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just that Berlin at the time was the minimal tech,
Oh,
needed to
yeah.
refresh itself.
Okay.
So, again, I don't claim that this is the absolute truth.
Yeah.
This is
It's
my
your experience, though, so
and
there's a
this is my
validity in it.
understanding and my lecture of
Right.
the story I was a part
Which
of.
is super valid and in of
You
itself.
know what I mean?
Right.
And the fact that I have to say that is even silly. But anyways, I have to because nowadays like, oh my God, whatever. But yeah, so when that started,
Yeah.
and that's another guy that's not being given credit
Kulu the
enough
Song.
in my opinion. Kulu the Song is actually somebody who deserves a lot of credit, But again, it's all right. I mean, we don't pay our bills off of credits being given. But it's always nice to be remembered and still being afforded some opportunities. And Kulu is good. I'm not speaking on his behalf.
Right.
I'm just speaking as somebody who observes the
Yeah,
game
yeah.
and just sees how things have evolved.
Yeah.
So from that inner vision, embracing the sound, Ame, Dixon, they did a massive remix of Roy A.S. Tarzan.
Okay.
I think it was right before they signed Kulu the Song or right after. But around that time, it was already that Afrocentric, it had already this Afrocentric feel that was very techy.
Wow, I have
So
much
Berlin really, really was, in my opinion, in my vision, very key and pivotal in
growing this
shaping
thing.
that Afrotech sound.
Wow.
Right? But again, they didn't shape it alone.
Right.
They took these South African artists,
Yeah.
such as Kulu the Song or many others. I mean, many people forget this guy from Durban called Black Soul. Amazing producer, amazing. We had him on the label back then. We released some of his first records,
On offerings.
On offering, yeah. So again, the sound in my opinion, started there. I mean, sound evolved and got recognized around the world,
Yeah.
starting from Berlin, because Berlin at the time was where it was happening.
So, like, what year are we talking now? Like
Early
2000,
2000s.
Yeah.
Early I mean, I would say 2000 something, maybe, I'll say maybe 2000.
3.
No, later than that,
Okay.
much later than that, much later. In the tens or so.
I see.
Yeah,
All
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
See, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
you know what I mean? So then things evolved. Obviously, you can never forget Oshun Lade, because Oshun Lade is the father of this whole thing.
Okay.
Even me, when I came, you have to understand, when I came into the game, Oshun Lade was banging drums like crazy.
So, we're going to Nigeria?
No,
first?
Oshun Lade is American.
American stuff. Okay.
You understand? The name is, Yoruba from
Right.
Nigeria. His label is actually called Yoruba Records.
Oh, right.
But Oshun Lade is from St. Louis in America, right? He's worked, but before that, he worked with the Gap Band, Massey Gray, Music Soul Child. I mean,
Okay.
solid music producer.
So, like, jazzy type vibes.
Soul, neo
Soulful,
soul,
neo-soul.
jazz, whatever, disco, funk, etc.
Okay.
Then you had, of course, around the same time as well, Manu early on, Frank Roger, back in the days, Real Tone Records, the early days. Those guys were really pioneering something. It's just that, so when I came in and I started, playing with the sounds and, added the flavor that I added to it, it really took a different dimension.
Okay.
And so it kind of instigated a different perception of Afro House,
Okay.
right? But also because I was being supported by Little Louis Vega, who was my, executive producer at the time. And again, the story is really long.
Oh,
But,
wow.
you have somebody, obviously, Anane Vega, Louis Vega's wife, who was the pioneer of the sound as well. She also is part of the pioneers with Nulu Records.
Stop.
Yeah, so people are thinking, oh, there's not enough female representation. What are you talking about? Anane.
Oh, my
Why don't you guys give credit where it's due?
Flowers.
Even though she's giving her flowers more now, because eventually stories get told, but and
Takes a while.
It takes a while. But then here in the UK, for example, you had back in the days, you had Zephyrin Saint with Trap Records,
Okay.
Christelle Moraine. She's also one of the early adopters of Afro House
Okay.
as a woman embracing the sound. But it's not only her. You've got to understand, back in the days, Afro House was considered to be a bastardized genre.
This is what you were talking about in the post.
Yeah.
And I was curious as to what
It
that-
was not looked as a good thing. I will
Wow.
not drop, because some of these people are really good friends of mine till
Yeah,
this day, so I don't want to,
No,
they might feel like I'm
feel
blasting
free
them.
to just, yeah.
But I'm like, yo, boy, like you know what you're doing, right? And it's like, bro, man, yeah, I can't do with Afro House anymore. I was like, what are you talking about? No, man, the connotation is bad because Europe and promoters and club owners, etc., in Europe used to consider that if you were Afro House,
Yep.
you were urban,
Yep.
too many black people.
Yep.
So again, now it's
There was
cool.
legislature that was put into practice, code something, form something that the UK government and the kind of the police were able to enforce, shutting down these clubs, these promoters, these parties,
Yeah, but
which I'm learning more and more about now.
This is the thing. For everything, there's a root cause.
I call it, it all comes back to systemic,
Yeah, but how does something become systemic? You know what I
hatred,
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe not.
But supremacy, I think in a way it's like...
Okay, now we're gonna go.
Right,
Don't make it too
deep,
intellectual.
Too deep. Right. This is the thing
This
we're
is
going
the
to come up
conversation.
against. Right.
You have to make sure that people can digest information
Yeah,
in a way that
yeah.
is easy to understand.
Accessible. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Go ahead.
Because if you go systemic, most people they don't
They're
care
gonna shut
about
down.
what
Yeah,
do
yeah.
you mean. Like,
Yeah.
of course, all these things exist, but let's bring things to our small little reality. Afro House is becoming big, but let's actually be honest. As an industry, we don't even know what our numbers are. Have you seen anybody rich from that sound, right?
This is it.
Yet?
Yeah.
Okay, Black Coffee,
Apart from
sure.
Black Coffee,
All right,
yeah.
cool. Kind of music, cool.
Yeah.
But did you study what exactly got them to where they are now?
Right. There's like
And
anomalies.
and you
They're
have to,
anomalies.
it's not just an anomaly. South Africans have something very powerful. As a nation, they are behind the artist. And you have to understand, ANC back then invested a lot in their soft power, the cultural
The
soft
arts.
power,
Okay.
the arts. So they made sure that South African DJs and producers back in the early 2000s would go to Miami for the Winter Music Conference, and they would do the South African takeover. It was massive events, beautiful. It was amazing to see
Okay.
how a government and a country
Yeah.
would really push so much
Yeah.
the artists and the craft
Something
that these
good
artists
come
have.
out of it, right?
You know what I mean? So some of these guys and gals benefit from that immensely. And
From the
those who were-
resource that's
Yeah,
being
yeah,
poured
yeah.
into this.
and those who on top of that had talent such as black coffee and the skill and and also the knowledge of business.
Okay.
This is a business, but it's mixed with emotions and so many different things. It's very difficult to sometimes,
Balance it. Right?
balance
Yeah.
it. So it's a combination of a lot of different elements.
Yeah.
You know what I
There's
mean?
lots of component parts to this big story.
Without these,
right? Yeah.
the whole full picture doesn't exist.
It has to be nuanced. There has to be some
It
form of
has to be.
critique. And
It has
you
to
have
be.
to speak about it.
Not taking away anything from anyone.
Yeah.
It's just emphasizing that we need that support
The
in
whole
order
thing.
for more black coffees to come up, for more kind of music to come up. You know what I
100%.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for not everybody's supposed to be under the spotlight in front of 60,000 people. Somebody like me with the fact that I'm contemporary. How do you say that in English without sounding stupid? In French, je suis contemporain. I'm contemporary to coffee, and we come from the same
Class.
time.
Yeah, I
We
call it
start. We
class.
all started
Yeah,
together, right? And so we all know each other for many years. And some of us who, like him, we have to support that.
Yeah.
Everybody get their moment.
Yeah.
And until you do, continue supporting those who are there, because, of course, you're not getting anywhere alone. You need a community behind you.
have to do it together.
And you have to honor the community as well.
Right.
But at the same time, you do get there alone, because if it's not your own strength,
Yeah.
and if it's not you putting in the efforts,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you have
And
nothing.
I have to go, especially in our economy, in this global
No, the
industry.
mentality here, they don't like things to be hard.
Yeah.
They don't understand. Like when I say they don't like,
graft.
trust me, you gotta grind, man. It's not easy. Oh my God, it's too difficult. It is supposed to be. If everything
after
was
your
easy,
dreams,
you would
yeah.
not value it.
Right. True.
So
True,
you gotta
sir.
go through the pain of earning it,
Yeah.
so that when you have it, you value it. Something
Right.
you don't pay for,
Yeah.
you don't value.
No, it's true. That's true. So, could you talk to me a little bit about offering records then? Because this has been around sort of in the early.
Since 2007.
Okay. Wow.
So
What's the premise behind it? Like, what
Well,
what
when
made
I
you-
started the label, my idea was I wanted to use my name and my what I was doing to help artists and also just release music that I liked, which I did, and then for quite some time, and then I had on board like my brothers from other mothers, like Ivan Diaz, Sifa, who helped me along the way really build that whole vision and sign artists.
Wow,
We
okay.
helped quite a few artists launch their careers.
Wow.
For a long time, Offering Recordings was considered to be a validation label. So I mean, it was a seal of validation and quality. When you were an artist signing on Offering, you would get a major deal in South Africa.
Really?
It was funny to see. I mean,
Like
somebody
for
would say, "How do you know that?" Well, because every time, until they were signed to us, they were not noticed by these labels. So when they were signed on Offering, Sony, Universal,
And then
etc.,
that
would be
opens
like,
up
"Oh,
doors, yeah.
it opened
yeah.
them a lot of doors." So some of the big names that you know now, some of them have released
Come
with
through
us,
the doors, yeah. of-
But then I shut down that door for releasing artists in 2000. It was 2000, I think 2015 or something. Yes.
yeah.
One of the artists that we had on the label, had a big song, generated millions of streams, made good money, accused me of stealing the money. I said, well, it's going to be very difficult for me to steal anything from you.
That's really kind of that's in a way it puts a dampener on all of the other great work that's been happening. But the people that know and that have been part of the journey will immediately recognize, be able to kind of be discerning of.
But
of
I do
what
understand why people think that, because we are independent labels.
I hear
I couldn't
you.
afford
So
an
there's a lot
accountant
of-
as well.
you're up
So yeah,
against
you
a
have the
lot.
money on there coming, but
Yeah.
it's like, okay, obviously at that level it's such an amount of money that there's no way you can. I mean, you can split it easily, But already as independent labels, people have these ideas because it's usually big DJs behind them. They think that the label is big because of the DJ.
Okay. Not because of they've got resources.
And
like
that
all
makes
this
the
money.
label big. But
Yeah.
financially,
Yeah.
you've got to remember, this is a business.
You're still
It doesn't mean that
strapped
it is
on it.
working
Right.
financially because that was back then. The
Right,
streaming was not
right.
as structured. It was disruptive still for the industry. Now we came back to how the industry was before streaming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Families normalized. So
Okay.
now you can
That's
start
interesting.
earning money. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But then, after that, I was like, I got so disgusted by the slenders, and it didn't last too long because obviously I made sure that I nipped it early because I
Good.
was like, I don't like this kind of
Got it.
nonsense.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
because you want to bring the fire, it's fine. I
Come,
can tend to it
let's
easy.
go. Let's go.
But I also know my character. I'm like, you know what? Let me not go there.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna chill this because
Don't go down to this level. Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
it's gonna be fun. So I give
Yeah.
that person their money,
Yeah.
which they still doubted that it was actually the real amount that was owed to them. So it
Okay.
was they were doing anyway. So because it was a lot of people are being shady in the game,
Yeah.
and they always say it's the industry. Well, you're also part of the system.
We all make it. We're all
You
participating.
make it that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you also sign a record on a label and you refuse to sign a deal, or you're like, oh, let's sign a contract later. And also, we are also artists. So we're like, cool, yeah, cool. I trust you, you trust me. We're building this. Next thing you freaking know, your career is picking up. They're not picking up,
Right.
but they're not doing the work for their careers to pick up.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So then it's like, well, it's not fair. You're doing this, you're doing that. It's like, dude, but you're not doing your part though. Yeah, but so I just stopped offering recordings as a label, signing other people.
Okay.
And it's just releasing solely my work and collaboration that I do
makes
with
sense.
others.
Okay. That checks
And
out.
yeah, because for me, I don't like the headache.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
and to be fair,
And
you
still
know.
able to support those producers, those artists in other
oh
ways.
yeah,
and
yeah, I've
myriad of
supported.
ways.
Man, I support them by connecting them with other
This is it,
labels.
yeah.
Now I have I partnered with Pete BBE. We have a label called Batakari.
Awesome.
Since 2020, we actually some of the records we have we have released so far since 2020. One of the first album we dropped on the label had received Best Album of the Year in 2021 in Belgium for urban music, produced
This
by
is
Yo
BBE,
Shorty.
Barely Breaking Even.
So it's BBE, Barely Breaking Even,
Awesome.
/ Batakari Music.
Okay, so
Batakari
that's
is
right,
the
because
sister
I
label.
met you there for the first time,
Yeah.
last month.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. That's
So
awesome.
Batakari is a sub-label to BBE,
Awesome,
which
okay,
is
cool.
also a sub-label to Offering.
Right.
So it's
alright.
it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
You understand?
Nice.
So people now sending music to Offering, I'm sending them,
To that,
funneling
yeah.
them
So it's
directly to
nice,
Batakari
yeah.
because the good thing with Batakari is that in BB we have a whole team. Offering is solely run by me.
Yeah, just one person.
From the records to being produced, to compose, to even the cover arts, everything is done by me.
Right.
I literally don't delegate to no one.
Right.
I might in the future, but for now, I'm just doing my own thing, which is
yeah.
I'm happy with that right for the moment. But then I'm still supporting artists, and I've always have by providing advices, etc., etc. Even though now
That
I'm
kind of
turning that into a
mentorship that
business,
happens in the everyday.
and I'm turning that into a business because I've realized that also
Nice.
another thing is that
You
I'm
need
giving
to
you all
make
these
ends
pearls of
meet.
knowledge,
Yeah,
and I'm like,
you have
yeah,
to be
let's-
able to thrive from that as well.
Let's do
'cause
it,
it's a
yeah,
label
because
in a
people
way.
think that it's easy. It's not.
Yeah, no, it's not.
It
It's
isn't. Yeah, you have the name, so what?
No.
Pardon my French, but if you're hot but you ain't got nothing in your brain,
Yeah.
what you got as a man or as a woman? You're just hot. You're just a nice little piece to carry around, but you don't have anything to add to the picture. So
Yeah.
if all you have is, the past glories, for how long you think you're going to be able to
Yeah.
eat from that?
TikTok viral for like a
Bro,
minute
like,
and then
you have to understand the new dynamic of the world is
consistency.
consistency and being on top of your business.
I see.
You cannot slip.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't get comfortable and don't get
Complacent.
complacent.
Yeah.
You cannot be complacent. You know?
Okay, Mr. Boddhi Satva, I have 2 questions for you before we
ahead.
get into your top 10, although it might be more like top 6, but we'll take whatever we
Yeah,
can
we'll
get.
take
We've
whatever
got
we can get.
coming up to half an hour
And I'm going
left
to be
of
doing
Mr.
shameless,
Boddhi Satva.
by the way, very important to my
Bring on
fellow
the shameless
producers.
plugs.
No, it's not even shameless, but shameless promotion.
Love it.
You have to play your music. As an
Yeah.
underground artist in
Yeah.
house music, hardcore, I used to be this underground, real, like warrior, militant. Yeah, man. You have to play your music. Actually, a very good friend of mine 2 months ago said, you know what, brother, I love you. I love the sets. I love everything. Why don't you just play only your music? And I was like, yeah, I can't, man. I can't. I love playing other people's music. And he's like, look.
That's the DJ in you, separate from the producer in you. I had the
Yeah.
same conversation with Soul Freaka the other day.
And you know what? Yeah, I decided 70% of those sets are going to be
Okay,
my music.
yeah. Well, that checks out because also people want to hear that, and
They
also
wanna hear
with a
performance.
with a catalog like that, you have so many
That's the
different
thing.
things to be able to kind of tap into.
Exactly.
So you're able to do that. You know what I mean? And then that 30% it still keeps it fresh. That's like me with released versus unreleased. 70% people songs that people
Yeah,
may
because
know.
it's only if you think about it, it's really for your own ego,
Yeah,
for the pleasure of saying, "Bitches, I got the
I made
unreleased shit."
that.
You know, how did you get it? Well, I get them. So I understand the whole like aspect of like getting your own thing,
Yeah.
but honestly, it's like promos, for example.
Right.
I don't bother sending promos anymore because
Yeah.
most DJs don't even respond. If you're on the record, ask me, I'll send it to you. But I'm not sending promos anymore.
Will you send
Unless
it?
it's
Will
a
you
big
send
album.
it to me for the Daring Deeply show?
Yeah, sure, no problem. If you give feedbacks, I'm always happy.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, we've got people tuned in here.
Yeah?
Patrick, Talisi Patrick.
Ah,
He's here.
greeting.
My good pal, Don't
Told
Call Me Taco, very big fan.
Bless.
Lottie will be here, very big fan, as you know.
Yeah,
That's my
man.
sister.
Yeah, man.
Okay, so question for you then. What's one thing you've learnt as part of this at this stage? What is the thing that's really resonating with you that's kind of coming through as a big learning right now? I'll stop there and then I'll ask the last question, then we'll get into our tracks.
Oh man, that's a deep one, huh?
I knew I wanted to get deep because I know yeah, come on, you know we can go there.
It's okay. Remember, it's just an industry. It's just a business. And sometimes when you give your heart, especially to people, the business is right. Actually, I love the business. I don't like the people in the business.
I hear you.
And when I say that, I also mean a lot of DJs and producers that are not. They appear to be something, but
Something that they're not. Yeah.
And it's okay. We all present a certain.
Even us, yeah.
It's okay, but I'd rather deal with somebody who. That's why, along the way, I started getting involved into more business-oriented ventures, and at least that world, I know they're not my friends.
Yeah.
They're not pretending to be my friends.
Right, there's no like inauthenticity there.
It's okay.
kind of
We know
face
we're here
value.
for that,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and we get to become friend potentially.
Because we're being real.
Because we're being real.
Even in that remit that you
But
have.
I was like, oh my God, I love you. Like,
No.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
you too. But
as
until you
our connected
yeah,
human
yeah.
capacity
You feel
is
me?
loving.
yeah, exactly. I'm a whole loving person, but you know, something that is exactly and protect your energy.
Right.
Protect your energy, not in the sense like I'm a very open guy, and some
Yeah.
people say, oh, he's so close. I'm not. I'm really very, very open.
Yeah.
I don't believe in being close for the sake of being close. Why
that
what am I
comes
scared
across. That comes across in you
Thank
and who
you.
you are. You know, I think that speaks to the all over the world, the fans, the people who've been
Yes.
supporting you, the people who have grown to love you over the years
Yes,
and
yes.
deeply have this love for you. That's
Absolutely,
why.
absolutely.
It's because you ooze this like realness, you know, and you
I
have done.
not. You know what? It's also my education. You know, God rest my parents' soul. I was not raised to be making a fool of my last name. You know what I mean? So we have a certain value, a certain ethic, and I'm not a perfect guy. You know, I have my flaws as well.
Something
You know, but when it comes to honor
Yeah.
and
Accountability.
being accountable,
Yeah, you can see.
100%.
I can see
It
that
may,
straight
it, may,
away.
it may hurt my butt though,
Yeah.
but I will be accountable.
But you got to get into that courageous
because
space.
this is the thing, is that you have to.
Yeah.
That's how people respect you.
Right.
If you cannot be accountable, so you just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Then you might as well just run your mouth.
Yeah,
But
that's
then
why
who
you
will-
don't run your
how
mouth.
will you respect-
That's why you be quiet and
Right.
you only speak when you're being asked
Asked
to,
to.
or you feel like
You're going to
it's
be heard.
appropriate.
Yeah.
So these are the lessons I guess we
Wow.
could, you know.
Yeah, no, that's
tapping
that's
into
good.
right now.
That's good for me right now. And then the next question, I ask every guest this.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, no guest so far has been the kind of
Ah,
the
well, they're all
establishedness
up
of
and coming,
Boddhi
so it's all
Satva.
good.
But I think the question still stands, and that is, what is one set that you experienced that changed you for good? As in, you walked out of that room feeling a different man.
Well, my first introduction to Babao Shulade. It's the first time, it's when I created Ancestral Soul as a sound and a movement. That night was birthed that music.
What, you
I'm
just
at
went to
the
the
club.
studio afterwards and then you just like, this came out of you?
No,
Okay,
let me
go
give
to
you the
story.
process.
Okay, all right. Go through the process, because I'm getting ahead of myself.
I'm in Antwerp, Belgium. Oshunade is performing at a very known club back then, still known to this day, but it used to really be like the spot to
Okay,
be.
okay,
Right?
yeah.
like a BB store, but it was a restaurant club, and really like they were bringing top artists.
Nice. Belgium, yeah?
Belgium.
Nice.
I used to live in Belgium for 17 years, and at the time I was running a radio show. I was assistant to a radio show called Urban Groove, and big shout out to Daniel Vega, by the way, a long time. And he used to be the host, and so he didn't speak good English, so he sent me out on the road to interview English-speaking artists. So I managed to get an interview with Oshunlade, with his agent, who was being a real pain in the butt for it.
So they're in the States at this point.
Well, he's already touring in Europe, and so I was trying to arrange the interview so that I can
come over,
go So I met Oshunlade at the club. We started interview. They take me to the office, start interview. And big shout out to Alton Miller for helping me. Alton Miller was already mentoring me, and we were actually roommates. So, I mean, you have a legend and one of the deep house godfathers being your roommate. I mean, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
You're going to learn from the best.
That influence, it's like
You know
the
what I mean?
inspiration comes off.
So he helped me shape the questions for Oshunlade. It was 8 questions, and we just connected.
Okay.
And Oshunlade, and I just come off a heartbreak.
Okay.
So he puts his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "You in pain?" And I said, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm cool." He's like, "No, whatever she's done to you, it's okay."
He just came out as she.
Yeah, I mean,
She's done to
I
you.
mean,
A myriad of things that could be getting us down.
nowadays, I know to say that is like, how can you assume? Well, yes. I mean,
So it's romantic issues in a
it was romantic.
heteronormative context. Okay,
it
go
was
ahead.
in that context.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
Go
it could. How can you imagine? Did you actually guess my orientation, my dear?
No, but there's
No.
a myriad of things that even on the other side I could be having
It was
conversation
a
about,
it was a heartbreak.
Oh, God,
It was,
yeah. Okay. All right.
You can
So no,
tell.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
somebody's been hurt,
Yeah. You're
through
kind
love,
of your shoulders are down.
you have a
and
different kind of energy.
Yeah.
You know?
bring it with you in the
when
rooms.
it's life hurting you,
Yeah.
it's a different kind of energy.
Right.
Heartbreak is honestly, it's nothing. Life coming at you, that pain, my dear,
That, yeah.
you will know that person is not going through some regular pain.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but only somebody who's gone through pain
is gonna
and
recognize
different levels of pain can actually acknowledge that. So, anyways, Oshunlade is a Yoruba priest, So there's a sense of spirituality that is extremely
That's how
accentuated,
he's able to just go.
And you can sense the energies and you can read through these things. And so, I was just extremely blessed to just have any dedicated this set to me that night. Like, yo, that's gonna be a healing set for you. Wow. And so as he starts playing,
This is great.
from the first track to the last track, I had never cried ever in my life as I was dancing. Never. No, I don't even know what the concept is. I didn't even know it was even possible. But I had tears of gratitude.
Wow.
And I felt release, like
Right,
if
that
some,
release
like a
is
group of people were just like shedding me from old skins and stuff like that.
Gosh.
And I came back home, and I wrote my first solo project, the Bria's Offering, Boddhi Satva project that I actually released on Yoruba Records.
Okay.
So that same night, I started the project. A week later, I sent it to him on his email. The following week, I was signing the record with him, and it was the first time I was actually getting. My solo project.
Right. Okay.
And my solo project was Grammy Award winning Oshunlade. That's another thing. So it started a long, as we said, the rest is history.
The ripple effect.
The ripple
started
effect.
there.
But I've been, again, and one thing I want to
that
add.
kind of answer to that question is like only you could come up with that. Like, I had this set dedicated to me by a great inspiration of mine, and then I was able to actually feel that spiritual connection and feel so. It's so in a way, it's like, and something I think this thing that you often speak about, which is music as this universal connection,
it is.
all of humanity.
And everybody
all
feels
over the
different
world.
about it as
Right,
well.
right. But in a way, it's like, especially the kind of sounds that you have been birthing, since the beginning of you've been doing this. It's in a way that kind of ancestral sound is exactly the thing that all
That's
over
what
the
it
world
is.
has been
And
able to
people
connect.
think that ancestral soul is like this old sound. No, it's not. Ancestral soul is Afrofuturism.
Yeah.
It's always been about that.
It doesn't
But
age.
it was anchored in it was rooted in ancestry, as in honoring
Honoring those before
that
us.
those who came before,
Wow.
those who paved the sound,
Wow.
the way for this sound to be what it is.
Right.
Ancestral soul, as a matter of fact, I'm going to say it because I can.
You can. You absolutely can, and you must.
Ancestral soul has really always and will continue to always influence Afrohouse.
Yeah.
Because it is a subgenre of Afrohouse,
Yeah.
but it is one of the essential part of what Afrohouse has also managed to become.
No, 100%.
Now, I cannot say that I was the only one doing it.
No.
There's the likes of Rencido, DJ Satellite,
Yeah.
Jeff Afrozilla.
Yeah.
We
All
forget
of
about the Angolan producers,
Yeah,
the
right.
Havaiana,
Wow.
Dorivaldo DJ, Silivi. Man, so many of them.
Right.
Galio, even those who were doing the Kuduro sound.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about South Africa, Kwaito,
Yeah.
definitely influential worldwide.
Right.
I remember the first time I heard Brenda Fassie Wulindlela.
Yeah.
Man, I was in Central African Republic at our
It just
local
makes you
blog.
stop, doesn't it?
Yo, when the song came up, we were all vibing. We didn't understand a single
Not a
word of
word,
what she was
yeah.
saying,
There you go. That speaks to the.
but the music
universal-
was talking to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've got to understand one thing, though, and I guess I can close with this statement here. Is just I was when I decided I was going to make this my everyday work. My father was a businessman, very accomplished, very successful. Said, okay, cool. I'll let you do the music thing. I'll help you for your first project financially. I'll co-finance it with you.
No
He
way.
put 6,000 euros on the project
Wow.
at the time, which was a lot of money,
Right.
still is. And I put the rest. And he said, okay, this was the first and last time I ever helped you. You're going to have to do your own thing. And you better be good at it. But what I forgot is that had he not believed that I was good at it, he would have never
He
put the money
wouldn't
in
have
the first
sent you
place.
off and given you that initial.
So I was very
investment.
blessed on his
Beautiful.
dying bed. Unfortunately, he said he made me promise. He said, "Do never stop what you've started here."
Oh my God.
And he said I'm extremely proud of you. And bear in mind, he had never said these things to me
Yeah,
before.
of course. Yeah.
I just didn't know how much of a fan and how proud he was of me.
Right.
Because African dad, very
Yeah,
strict,
yeah.
a bit stern. So I
The
was like, he
emotional
doesn't
side
care
doesn't
about this.
often
It's like
come.
whatever,
Yeah.
you know. I didn't think he would think anything of my work.
Yeah.
No, but he actually was a massive fan.
And he wanted you to know, continue.
Yeah,
You know,
don't stop.
don't let
No
the
matter how
world
hard
get you-
life gets.
Right.
Because it's going to get hard.
Right.
And you're going to want to
The
stop.
inevitability of that.
You have
as
to
an
you
artist.
got to keep going. Yeah.
And isn't it so remarkable that you did continue going, and also that the thing that you speak
Yeah.
about then is the ethos that you've been doing through the music, which is pay homage, you know,
True, yes.
actually the ancestralness of it.
Yes.
You know, let's honor who we've come from, and that is the same thread right the way through to what brings us to the end of this now.
Here
You
you
know,
go.
it's beautiful.
Beautiful,
So we're going to hear some of your top tracks.
Yeah.
Everyone's super excited.
Oh, snap.
The chat's popping off.
Oh, bless.
Everyone's so excited.
Bless.
Obviously, Lottie's here.
Lottie.
Don't Call Me Taco is a really big fan of yours.
bless.
Oh my gosh, she's also
Tulisi
comes
Patrick.
From, yeah, and
Yes,
Tulisi
indeed. Oh,
Patrick's
yeah,
here.
Bomba Records, indeed. Big shout out to Mzilikazi wa Afrika. Now, people forget Mzi. Patrick, thank you. Mzi, big guy in Afrohouse.
Right.
But because he's a famous journalist and has made a name for himself as a journalist, and has always been a fan. He has always been a fan of music. Serious producer. But, you know, there's a thing. It's like if you're a dancer and you become a DJ, there's kind of like this disdain that DJs have towards it. Like, what is it? If she or he is good at what she or he does,
And they care about what they
and they care about, like, what is your freaking problem?
Yeah. Leave some of
All
the
I'm
kind of
saying is
preconceptions at the
I
side.
don't care if you're a woman or
Yeah.
a man or whatever it is. If you're a good DJ, that's all
Yeah.
that counts. But
Okay.
if you suck,
Yeah.
you should not get the opportunity.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you suck.
Yeah.
Somebody better than you should get it. Because I'm about
crack
merit.
me up.
I'm not
Yeah,
about.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
about
yeah.
like. Well, but it's no.
Yeah.
Do you merit?
Yeah.
Because, look, I will probably never be at the cover of at the cover of a GQ magazine.
You know, you're gonna
But
say,
I had 4 pages in the GQ magazine.
yeah. Wow. Okay.
But you understand?
Yeah.
You have to be realistic. I might be at the cover of maybe a bodybuilding magazine if I decide to become a big bodybuilder, or if I was to actually really embrace my Brazilian jiu-jitsu
Yeah.
hardcore, maybe I could. But again, be realistic. I don't want to break no bones. I'm doing it for the pleasure.
Yeah.
But my job is
Because
not
you
that.
enjoy it. Yeah. No, this
So
makes
let's be
sense.
realistic and let's address our weaknesses. We all have our weaknesses and strengths, And as long as we're honest with ourselves, we'll be good. You know? And merit is not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when people keep it. That's not good.
Yeah.
You gotta also, and when I say don't give a chance, of course you gotta give people chances for them to enhance and to get better. But it shouldn't be based on how they look and who they know. And unfortunately, it has become too much of that.
Yes, that. Yeah.
And that makes
That's
it.
not intrinsic values. It's very much based on these kind of cheekiness and our social
yeah.
relationships and stuff.
Anyways.
All right, so shall we get into it? Wait, let's have a track from you. I'm excited for this.
This one is Now or Never with Aaron Kimberly. Big shout out from Switzerland, remixed by my brother from another, Manu, and yours truly, Boddhi Satva. But obviously, this remix is Manu's, so
Okay,
let's
awesome.
get right into it.
Okay, let's do it.
Sorry, wrong song. Pull up. Shit happens when you perform live, you know.
Boddhi Satva. We gotta get you back.
Yeah.
Truly, we have to have you back so we can hear more of the top 10 tracks and actually flesh them out, you know, and really get that story
Sure.
behind it. I think definitely the community would absolutely love that. This is beautiful.
Thank you. Well, actually, I can talk about this record.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's called Incense for Libation. It's a song that I wrote right after my mother passed away. And just play it. It speaks for itself.
Wow.
Incense for Libation.
Incense.
It's a very... I mean, yeah. Again, music speaks.
It's
so everybody's
speaking
going to
for
interpret it.
itself. It's speaking for itself. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for the invitation. I appreciate it.
Absolutely beautiful. We will be sharing it on the YouTube channel afterwards, so it will be there for people to watch back, and then we'll have you on properly as well in the coming weeks whilst you're in London. Boddhi Satva is in London. He's playing on Thursday.
That's right.
At Blue Marlin.
Yeah.
In the Mondrian, Shoreditch.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
That's the way the location is. Anyway,
Yeah.
you would know better than me, but yeah. So.
Yeah. So if you guys are around, it's a guest list. You can reach out to them. It's a Blue Marlin event. Mr. Boddhi Satva will be playing there. A couple of others that we know.
Actually, it's House of Groove event at the Blue Marlin.
House of Groove. There we
Davide
go. That's the
Virtual,
premiere.
Johnny Reckless,
Leader,
and yours truly, Boddhi Satva.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so if you guys want to catch us there, we'll be there on Thursday. Come through. It's completely free, and in the meantime, we have a couple of minutes. We're going to listen to the rest of this track, Incense for Libation. What a beautiful track. Thanks for coming on, Mr. Boddhi.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much. So a little story about this track. Sam Fan Thomas from Cameroon. Massive classic from Central Africa. Noah. This joint here, for the little story, was introduced to me by an amazing musician, Frank Bion. And I just want to say that for those, many of you don't know, but my grandfather was actually born in Cameroon
Really?
on my father's side.
Wow.
So, but our tribe is between Cameroon and Central African Republic.
Okay.
So, yeah, we are Central Africans, but my grandfather was born in Cameroon. So,
Wow.
anyways, little story in stars. Actually, nobody knows about it. So,
It's amazing.
little scoop.
Come on,